I chose the heart because it plays many vital roles in our bodies. Without it, we wouldn't be able to survive. The heart carries and supplies the body's cells and tissues with oxygenated blood and transports deoxygenated blood to the upper body to receive oxygen and become oxygenated. The heart also pumps other hormones, vital substances, and nutrients to different parts of the body, and it helps maintain one's blood pressure. The heart is located in the thoracic cavity between the lungs, in the space known as the median sternum. So in this diagram, we have the right lung and the left lung. This white dotted line is the outline of the median sternum. So it is located between the lungs. The heart is located in the median sternum. The heart is composed of three layers: the epicardium, the myocardium, and the endocardium. On this diagram, we can see that the epicardium is the outermost layer, the myocardium is the middle layer, and the endocardium is the inner layer. The epicardium is the outermost layer of the heart wall and consists of connective tissue. The myocardium makes up the bulk of the heart and is composed of cardiac muscle tissue. So in the diagram here, we can see that it is and makes up the majority, and it has these little faint pink strips, which would be the striations of the cardiac muscle tissue. The myocardium is responsible for the pumping action of the heart with help from the cardiac muscle cells. These cells are involuntary and have gap junctions which allow action potentials to conduct from one muscle cell to the next, making the pumping movements of the heart. The endocardium is located in the heart and lines the inside of the myocardium. So if we look at this diagram here, we can see that this would be the myocardium that consists of the cardiac muscle cells, and then in here, just inside this black line, would be the endocardium. So the endocardium is composed of epithelium and connective tissue. So the connective tissue helps connect itself to the myocardium, while the epithelium lines the chambers of the heart and covers the valves. You'll also notice in this diagram there are three more layers, and that is consisting of the pericardium. So the membrane that surrounds, protects, and holds the heart in place is the pericardium. The pericardium consists of two parts: the fibrous pericardium and the serous pericardium. So the fibrous is the outside, and then the serous is just on the inside. So the outer fibrous pericardium is thick, tough, and made from dense connective tissues. This helps in providing the heart with protection and helps holding the heart in place. The inner serous pericardium is thin and forms a double layer. This includes the parietal and visceral layer. So, the pericardial cavity you will see is next, and that contains a thin fluid. So this fluid is referred to as the pericardial fluid, which reduces friction between the membranes as the heart moves and pumps. The heart is involved in the cardiovascular system along with two other components, blood and blood vessels. The cardiovascular system carries out many functions in which the heart is continually trying to help maintain with the help of blood and blood vessels. The heart continually pumps to help transport deoxygenated blood to the right side of the heart, which then goes to the lungs to become oxygenated. Oxygenated blood is sent back to the left side of the heart and is pumped to the rest of the upper and lower body through the pulmonary and systemic circuit. The blood vessels help transport this blood to the upper and lower body parts. So on this diagram, you can see that the heart is located just in the middle of your body. And then you have the veins running all throughout your arms and down all the way to your feet. And then they also go up into your head, and same with the arteries flowing throughout the whole entire body. So here I have a diagram of the heart which shows the parts that help make up this organ. Here is the superior vena cava at the top of the heart, and then the inferior vena cava is at the bottom. Blood from the superior and inferior vena cava flow into the right atrium with deoxygenated blood. The superior vena cava brings blood from the upper body, while the inferior vena cava brings blood from the lower body. So from the right atrium, deoxygenated blood flows through the tricuspid valve into the right ventricle. From here, the blood is pumped into the pulmonary trunk, passing through the pulmonary valve. The pulmonary trunk divides into the right pulmonary artery and left pulmonary artery, which carry blood to the lungs. In the lungs, the blood receives oxygen and leaves to come back towards the heart, entering through the left pulmonary veins and the right pulmonary veins. The oxygenated blood flows into the left atrium through the mitral valve and into the left ventricle. Here, the blood is pumped through the aortic valve, which is right here, and then flows into the aorta. The aorta carries oxygenated blood to all parts of the body. You will also notice there are internal structures on this heart diagram, such as the interatrial septum, interventricular septum, and chordae tendineae and papillary muscles. So the interatrial septum is right in here, and it separates the right and left atrium. And then the interventricular septum is down here, and it divides the right and left ventricles. The chordae tendineae and papillary muscles help add strength to the valves and prevent them from flapping open. So they are this white structure right here, and the papillary muscles are down here in both the ventricles. So here I have a diagram of the conduction system of the heart. The conduction system of the heart is a network of nodes, cells, and signals that control the heart's heartbeat. So looking at the diagram, it starts off with the sinoatrial node. So the SA node is what initiates the action potential, and it will sweep across the right and left atrias. From here, it'll reach the AV node, and the impulse will continue down to the bundle of the right and left bundled branches, and eventually into the Purkinje fibers. One of the systems that the heart interacts with is the respiratory system. The main function of the respiratory system is to transfer oxygen from inhaled air to blood and transfer carbon dioxide from blood to exhaled air. The respiratory system and the heart within the cardiovascular system work together to ensure that the body's tissues are receiving enough oxygen and that the carbon dioxide and other waste are removed from the body. The lungs and the heart work together in the fact that the heart sends deoxygenated blood to the lungs so it can get rid of carbon dioxide and waste through exhaling, and makes the blood oxygenated so it can be sent to the body's tissues and cells. This is an example of gas exchange within the lungs. This exchange involves the bronchioles and alveoli. The pulmonary circuit transports the blood to and from the lungs, where it picks up oxygen and delivers carbon dioxide for exhalation. The systemic circuit transports oxygenated blood to all the tissues of the body and returns the relatively deoxygenated blood and carbon dioxide to the heart to be sent through the pulmonary circuit. Another system that the heart interacts with is the digestive system. The digestive system works with all the components of the cardiovascular system, the heart, blood, and blood vessels. The digestive system's functions are to absorb nutrients and break down foods physically and chemically. With the help of the heart pumping blood to the upper and lower body, this is what helps make the digestive system function. The blood that the heart pumps picks up the nutrients that the digestive system has broken down and transports them throughout the body to where they need to go. Without the digestive system taking in food and breaking it down, and the cardiovascular system transporting these nutrients, the rest of the body systems would not have the nutrients they need to operate.